Let's see an in-depth presentation of this Autoreflex T camera. It was not the first of the Autoreflex series. There was a previous version of it. Then the following versions were T2, T3, and there was also a T4 version, but I believe T4 was already very different than this one, this one have heavy body, all steel. T4 was a lighter model with also different viewfinder. So there is about 4 versions of this Autoreflex series, and this would be the second one. And generally speaking, I believe it's a good camera, a fairly solid one. It's all mechanical except for the light meter, which takes 2 batteries, and today is no longer possible to obtain those batteries, mercury. So instead we can use 1.4 heating batteries, 2 of them, but they need to put something around them because the diameter of the battery is smaller. Also, when you have batteries in there, be sure to turn off this camera switch to put it to the L position. It has a small notch. Put it to the L position. Otherwise, because when we operate the camera, this needs to be turned to the red dot position. At this moment, the light meter is on, so it drains the battery. So when you store the camera, be sure to put it on the L locked position. It's the same lock, same on off for the shutter button. So it's not going to operate in the lock position. You need to move the small notch to the red dot in order to operate the shutter. I did an advanced film. There is no film in this camera, also no lens here. And I have to say that this is all full mechanical camera. It does not need batteries to press or to advance the film, to take pictures, only for the light meter. And by the way, light meter, it's not essential. Please read again. Light meter is not essential in our existence. We can estimate the light conditions visually, and obviously with the lens we can set the f-stop and also the shutter speed. So we can set the f-stop on a lens just by the what's called Sunny 16 rule. We can search on Google or on my channel. I have a video about this. This camera, it's heavy, weighs about 730 grams. You may convert this to imperial. And so it's not necessarily one of the heaviest cameras from that era, but the heavier from that era, but it's one of the heavy ones from that era. It has a mirror system. You need to check whenever you want to buy, preferably ask the seller in advance, are the light seals new, have been replaced. There is a light seal right there. I say in another video, you need to make sure you know what you're doing when replacing them yourself, because that material is sticky, black, and easily goes on the mirror or on the viewfinder piece, small glass piece. And when it goes in there, it's almost impossible to clean. And if you try to clean, you smell it even worse, and it's terrible. Even cleaning this small mirror, it's very tricky. Please Google and search forum SLR mirror cleaning and read by yourself. I cannot do that for you. One big limitation other than the weight of the camera is the fact that we don't have a split prism circle. So on later models, there is a circle in the middle with a small line that helps a lot focusing properly. This camera doesn't have that small line. It does have the circle, but there is no small line, and that doesn't help focusing properly, which is going to be more important if the depth of field is shallow. May Google up online what that means. The viewfinder is not very bright. Also, the light meter has a needle. It is difficult to read, especially in low light, in less than very bright light conditions. So it's not easy to operate this camera when it's not a lot of light outside. And if you have lengths such as 85 millimeter, 100, 135 millimeter, then it's going to be even harder to focus and to read the light meter. The normal lens such as 40, 50 millimeters are going to be better, but it's not always easy. It is a camera that looks nice, does not feel as nice as it looks, but all these metal parts here, shiny, I'm not sure what the metal is, they are very aesthetically pleasant. So if you're looking for a camera that looks like a camera, you can also imagine putting lens on it. It does look like an old vintage camera. This was produced in the late 60s up until 70s or so. It has a depth of field preview, and what this does is when you press it, it puts the lens at the set aperture, so you see, when you press this button, you see what you are going to picture, what the camera will put on film before you take the actual picture. It tells you if a subject is in focus or out of focus. It tells you also the bokeh behind the subject, if there is any. Other than that, it's normal controls for that time. We go down to 1 by 1000 shutter speed. We have a B when you lock the mirror, and then these are the shutter speed options. And also on the knob here we have the ISO, which is called ASA, and those times ISO and ASA was the same thing. This is a different measurement. We just lift this small ring here to set and to rotate and set. This is the frame number, and when you put a new film in there, you actually don't need to take pictures. Remember to unlock the shutter button. Once you close the door of the camera, you need to advance the film by lever until you reach position 1, and you don't need to shut. There's no need. Those pictures are lost anyway. Probably when you have, I don't have film inside, probably you won't need to depress the shutter, but because I don't have film inside, I need to depress the shutter. So let's go until we reach position 1, about 3 pictures, I think. These are lost pictures. You may still take a picture of a subject, but make sure it's not an important picture for you. Probably will show blank at white or at the development. So we have this view of the frame number. When we see reach position 1, we shut. Just like with any other cameras, when we put 24 photos film, you may be able to take up to 27. So go up to 27 here. If it's a 36 frame roll, then you may go up to 38 or 39 before the film advance. No longer can advance film. Don't force at that moment. You need just to remove the film from the camera. We need first to depress this button here. It stays there, it stays down, and then on this model I have another model where you lift this thing and pops the door open. You just pull it more, but not on this camera. What you need is just lift this thing and just roll back the film. It's moving this way. Just make sure it rolls all the way back. You will feel when it ends, it detaches from here. Once it detaches from there, you can remove it from the camera. So it's up to you. You can roll it all the way back inside the canister. That's how you usually bring it to photo lab. Or once you feel it did detach here, there's going to be a train not far away. So once you feel it did detach, it becomes easier to rotate. You can also open the camera. Those last or first frames are already exposed to light, are not, there is no photos on them. You can remove the film, and this way you have a small bit of film which is not inside the canister. To open the door, make sure the film it's all the way here or up until this point. Yes, this is the train that's waking people very early morning. We just pull on this thing. I don't think you need to have this button, the press. This is the press only to roll back the film. So once you roll the film, you just pull on this little thing. It's very tiny. Put your fingernail in there. Careful with your fingernails, right? Well, actually it goes downwards. My apologies. Door opens. Again, there's no film. And I want to point out there are more light seals. There is this one here, fairly tricky to remove, fairly tricky. And there is this one here. So there appears to be 3 light seals. Careful, when you handle like this, careful so you don't put your fingers on the mirror. The mirror is fragile, but also you don't want to smear it. So I know there is a seal there. I don't think there is other light seals, but better just ask on forums. If you just want, careful not to touch on the actual mirror, you can place your finger underneath, close the mirror and look underneath inside that dark room. There is also a mirror stop, this small bump there. Sometimes it may wear off. There is a tiny screw on it. Careful with those things. Let's I apologize for this strap, but it's really difficult to remove it, and I want to point out that it's all leather, genuine original one, and the case for this camera, it's also all leather, so it was not done cheap back then. So I need to kind of handle this. I want to show you when we take pictures what happens. Look at it. It's not only this is the film advance, the film goes there, and when you put the film, I think you just, I don't know, search online because there were different mechanisms. I don't know if you need to insert the film in there or just put it over. There are certainly videos that show this better than I could do it. Look how the shutter, it's loading at the same time. See, the shutter was, this curtain was kind of, that has some smear on it. It's not a problem as long as the curtain pieces, or whatever the name is, don't look bent and don't have a gap in them, in between them. Then you should be fine. Let's just fire up. I'm not sure what the speed is. The speed is B, so it's going to keep. I'm going to keep the button depressed. I'm not going to release it, and you'll see this curtain will stay open, and you should see in front of the camera. So there's no magic in there. Careful not to touch mirror or anything. Oh, yeah, I let go the button. It needs to stay fairly low. You don't see it properly, perhaps. It needs to stay fairly low to hold the mirror and the curtain open. So let's try it again. So as long as I keep the button fully depressed, if I lift it just a little bit, it lets go. The curtain is open. This is you see behind, in front of the camera, and you can expose this way 2 hours if you can hold it. Anyway, so this shows you a little bit how the thing works. I'm going to show you from the other side as well. So let's let go the button now. You notice how fast the shutter curtain is closing. Let's reload it, advance the film one more time. I'm pulling on the lever. You can see something turning inside here too. And perhaps you could see there are kind of teeth or whatever bumps here that are on both sides of the film which advance. And again, inside this roll here, there's also something spinning, and you notice the curtain does not start to lift right away. Let's fire up. I just let go quickly. So let's rotate here, and you will see once this rotates, the curtain takes a moment. It's at a certain position of the lever that will start. Let's watch the lever at the same time. That will start to move up. About here only. Only about here the curtains start to lift. I don't know how the curtain shutter assembly is made. Perhaps there is a spring connected to a spring. Yes, it seems this is very reliable, and even in very, very cold temperatures. I think it was used by people in the northern areas, northern Canada. So let's fire up. I cannot hold properly the camera door open, or maybe can I? Oh yes, I can. Okay, so let's do exactly the same from the front. So right now the shutter curtain is loaded. I'm going to hold down on B position, bulb position we call that. See what happens. Perhaps it's hard to see, but maybe try to play the video at small pace or small motion. The mirror is very quick to lift, and obviously the curtain also is very quick to the mirror is right there in the lifted position, and the curtain is very quick to open. So I'm going to let go. Again, both come down very quickly. Let's load again. And press again B button. Try to give you some. Perhaps you could also see it's like a reflection. This is the center circle, focusing circle, prism or micro prism. And again, it does not show, I cannot tell if you can see from behind the camera, but it doesn't have a split middle line like in later cameras. This very tiny thing there. Okay, let's press down. And I'm going to let go. And voila. I can try different speeds. This one, again, it's so long exposure, so call it long exposure. B, I believe, was for a set up with a light in the room, so it's for interior perhaps. Let's move now to 1000, which is we just rotate this knob. Hopefully, okay, I thought it goes, so it doesn't go all the way both ways. So I cannot rotate this way. It rotates clockwise until the B, then it stops. It doesn't go further more than force. So counterclockwise, this is the correct, if you want, way to reach 1000, but I don't think, yes, it stops at 1000. If you want to reach B or the other ones, it goes this way. So there is no movement between B and 1000. So this is 1000. Let's load it. And I notice it has some sort of scratches here, or it looks like the paint it's coming off or so. It's weird. Just like there was rust underneath. I don't think there's rust, but okay. 1000. It's very, very fast opening. You don't perhaps can even tell. Let's see what happens. I'm in a park early morning, and I just tried not to get eaten by mosquitoes. Okay, I'm firing up. Perhaps too fast to tell, but you can hear the sound. I'm going to move it to, let's try all the speeds, why not? it's not too difficult to push this lever, and then you feel there is a spring that makes those tiny clicks. It's okay. It's a nice feeling, nice sound. Also, once you need to fully go and don't force once you reach the end. Just you will feel it. Just be gentle with this whole part. When you let go, and once you let go, it does not move more. So you need to take the picture, or you can also close it, but I don't recommend keeping the camera, storing the camera with the shutter ready to fire up. Why? Because there is springs inside, and you keep those springs loaded, and it's better not to do that on an old camera. Maybe you can keep it for a few seconds, 1 minute, but don't store it this way. So if you just pull back this lever, I don't think, let's see if it fires up with the lever closed position, and again it's not on the lock position, the on off button. So let's see what happens. Oh, it works. Okay, so it did work with the lever in the closed position. Let's move to 250. Maybe now we are going to see. So again, this is the whole trouble. It's very, very long, very long. It goes almost, I cannot film properly this, but, and then it stops here. Don't force at that point. Let go gently. I recommend let go gently. Don't let it snap in place. Again, that's how I take care of all parts, if you don't mind. 250 now. Let's see if we can have an idea of the curtain and mirror. I can barely see it on camera. Also, my camera, phone camera, has a certain number of frames, so it may not have enough frames. So I let go by hand, just like this, being gentle with it. Let's move to a slower speed, 1/30. Now you should be able to see the curtain in the camera footage, in my phone image. Okay, let's try it again. I could feel something in the shutter. There is a problem with this camera, which was disclaimed by the seller on eBay. It doesn't go smooth like on other speeds here. So something, it's not sticking, but it's locking inside. And this is 1/30. Let's try 1/60. Let's see if it does the same. I have a mosquito attack. Give me a second. Okay. So 1/60. I still feel it. And it's not because the film advance, it's not complete. There is a stickiness here. Well, actually, you know what? I think I did move. Yes, I did move by mistake. I did move this lock button. So it's like the notch is now, I'm not sure if you see it. Yes, you see it. The notch is now intermediate in between red and lock. So let's move back to red. Okay, so this is one thing that you need to pay attention, because this does move fairly well, fairly easily. So if you just pass your finger like this, let's see once again. So if you just pass your finger maybe towards the right side, you may move it a little bit, and then the notch is no longer on the red dot and it's locked. So I can tell that if that notch is, it doesn't have to be on L. Even if it's in between L and red, it doesn't let you to press the shutter button. So make sure the notch is all flush on red. So let's try now I would say 1/30. Let's see what happens. You could tell, I could see it in my camera, phone camera, that it did fire up. Usually we consider 1/60. If you hold the camera steady, 1/60 would be the slowest shutter speed that you can safely operate the camera without shaking it, without shaking the photo. And that accounts for the small pressure that you put on buttons. So when you put on shutter some pressure, you may shake a bit the camera, but these are heavy, big cameras, so it's not like a cell phone or tiny point and shoot digital camera. So 1/60, if you put the shutter speed at 1/60 or above, 1/125, 250, 500, 1000, then you should safely take a picture without shaking the camera, without blur in pictures. 1/30, maybe it may work. It doesn't matter the aperture setting. Maybe 1/30 may work if you really just, you know, kind of cramp your hands and go gently on the shutter speed so you don't shake the camera. Maybe you get non-blurry pictures. By 1/15, you have good chances to have a tiny bit of blur in your pictures, right? So sometimes you are taking pictures in lower light, but if you need to put it at 1/15, normally you should put it on a tripod, and you should use the self timer to just have the camera fire without you pressing on the button and shaking. So you press on the button, you put the self timer first. I think you put the self timer first and then you shake on the button, put the presser shutter. Sorry, I'm a bit dizzy, early morning, bad night of sleep as always. And let's try to fire up 1:30. I think the camera is picking up the correct speed with the camera frame. I'm going to go down to 1/8, so this is about 0.1 seconds. You notice perhaps you could hear a small zip. That's sort of a timer, which is the same as the auto timer, self timer. Let's try 1/2 seconds, half a second. Again, I don't let go the film. Advanced lever, gentle with the old lady. So fire up. That's how it sets. So perhaps for higher speeds, I'm only guessing here, higher speeds, I'm not sure how it's timed. The curtains opening and closure are timed, but it seems that there is some sort of a timer mechanism, something that buzz, that small buzz. Let's try 1/1. So this is 1 full second exposure. It should last 1 second. Now I'll tell you something in a moment. I'm curious, if I hold down the button, does it still close the curtain and the mirror? So I'm going to hold it down fully. Yes, so I did hold it down and it still works. Now there is a question, are those exposure times accurate? In other words, is it really a full second? I don't know, sometimes an old camera may not have the exposure time accurate and you will not get good pictures. One last thing, it seems that when you take, no, forget about this. But yes, I think I have about 1 minute going on the filming. So whenever you check the light meter, if you are using it with batteries, be sure to cover this viewfinder, because the light meter is connected to the front of the camera to lens, but also with this viewfinder. So you need to not to have a strong backlight into the viewfinder, just like it's now. The sun is behind me. Otherwise, it may influence the reading of the measure of the light meter device inside. So careful. Usually you put your eye on it, right? If you don't put your eye on the camera when you read or when you set the light meter, you will put it. You actually put your eyes when you set the light meter. Just make sure you keep your eye closer here when you read the light meter on this camera, so there is no light from the side, strong light that comes into it. Okay, I think